Let them run, I say. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.media. Should civil servants be allowed to run for public office? Sure, absolutely. Why not? I often call on public servants to leave their posts and run for public office. They're so busy politicking. Right now, we've got a case of two different senior public servants trying to take a leave of absence from their job, which they're allowed to do with permission, and seek public office. The latest is Claude Provencher. He wants to run for the Liberals in a Laval area riding. Laval's just north of Montreal. And then you've got Emily Taman. She is in the Ottawa area. She wants to run for the New Democrats. Both of them are lawyers in different parts of the government. Both of them want to take a leave of absence. But the Public Service Commission of Canada has said, no, you can't do that because we have questions about your neutrality if you fail and then come back on the job. Look, they've already tipped their hand as to which side of the political divide they sit. They're both on the progressive side. They both have identified the party they'd like to run with. So if you have concerns about their neutrality, well, maybe they don't belong in the public service at all, but you're trying to fight to keep them. Look, I could make an easy quip about all public servants are just leftists anyway. But I live in Ottawa. I know a lot of public servants. I know that that's not the truth, not by a long stretch. Yes, their unions are. Yes, most of the leadership is. But that doesn't mean the average public servant is. Most of the Ottawa area is actually represented by Conservative MPs. They get a lot of votes from civil servants and civil servant families. So that's not exactly the truth. And then there's also the case of another man who's been through this before himself, Justice Minister Peter MacKay. When he first tried to run, he actually was fired from his job as a prosecutor because he was denied the ability to take a leave of absence and run for office. So he just ran for office. He lost his job over it. If he hadn't been elected, he didn't have a job to go back to. That is what Emily Taman could face. Now, Claude Provencher is fighting the feds in court. He says that his charter rights are being violated. He's likely going to win, but he won't get a decision out of that court case until after the October election. So he either abides by the process and doesn't get to run this time, or he does what Emily Taman is doing and just runs. She handed in her government BlackBerry, closed up her desk, handed off files to colleagues and said, I'm on a leave of absence. She hasn't been approved for one, but she'd fought for one for a long time and eventually just said, I'm being denied what is rightfully mine. I agree with her. Look, it doesn't matter which party a public servant wants to run for. They should be allowed to run. If the rules say that you're able to run with a leave of absence, then let them run. Instead, you've got an arbitrary process going on right now, one that is going to turn both of these people into martyrs for their cause. But hopefully, maybe they can get together with Peter MacKay. Maybe they can nudge the Public Service Commission in the right direction. I really wish that MacKay could just say, these two people are on a leave. They're both essentially under my department. You can't do that. It's the Public Service Commission that has to do this. And that's, fairly arm's length body. The government could nudge this organization in the right direction. We all should be able to run for the party of our choosing. We should all be able to vote for the party of our choosing. Your job shouldn't determine whether you get to take part in the democratic process. I don't want people using their government jobs to further their own political agenda that goes against the views of the duly elected government of the day. But if we can have, as we had several years ago, a woman working for the Heritage Department at a senior level and helping to run the Bloc Québécois, then I'm fairly confident we can have two government lawyers take a leave of absence and try to run for office. At least they're being honest. Unlike people like Bill Blair, the former Toronto police chief, who was politicking as a Liberal for years without actually stepping down and running for office. Now he is. Now at least he's being honest. Taman and Provencher, they're trying to be honest now. I say, let them run. Let them take part in the democratic process. It's the right of each and every one of us. It's one that shouldn't be denied, not in an arbitrary fashion, by something called the Public Service Commission.